Okay, I made it. I didn't think I would. I was running a little bit behind today. So I hope that all is well as you're watching this video. All right. So we've made it. And let me see if I can adjust a couple of things because I don't like what I'm doing right now. Okay. I'm gonna actually a little bit. Okay, and I think I'm also furthermore okay. So I'm a little bit less than prepared for this video because life doing a lot of running around. Finally got here. Okay, so I hope this video finds you well wherever you are. This video, of course, is all about seasonal transitions. So right now, as I'm filming this, I am, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere. I live on the east side of North America, of the United States, on the East Coast. And so we are entering autumn. So it is the beginning of September right now. A lot of changes at the moment. So I'm just going to turn this around. Not sure if you can see a little bit, but here we go. This is what it looks like outside. It's still pretty green right now, as you can tell, but you can see little tiny hints of autumn. Little here and there, you have some golds and yellows, things changing right now. And I don't know if you can see, but there is a hummingbird sitting on the line. He is our resident little hummingbird. There's a couple of them. But let me see. You probably can't see him because he is all the way, where is he? You can't see him by where I'm at. He's all the way over here, close to where that red feeder is. And he loves sitting out on the line. He does that all the time. He has been doing that even more now that autumn has hit. He really, really loves sitting outside on the line. It just sits there next to his feeder, just sits there. And he did that a little bit during the summer. So if you don't know, we get ruby-throated hummingbirds where I live. It's the only type of hummingbird we get. They're so cute, very, very little itty-bitty things. They're apparently the smallest birds we get here on the East Coast. Very small, adorable, very cool. And they're seasonal. They're migrational. They migrate. So we get them here from April through October. So he actually is going to be leaving us very shortly. And so we pretty much saw him since April. He came back on schedule in April. And there's actually a picture of him. I don't have a video, but I do have a picture, I think. But he usually just comes, he sits for a second, and then he takes off after he's drank his sugar water, and he leaves again. But recently in the autumn, he's actually been sitting there for extended periods of time, very, very long. He's still there now. He sits there for a long time, just sitting there by himself, looking around, looking up at the sky, sitting next to his feeder. Not drinking necessarily, he drinks a little bit, but he just sits there. And I noticed him doing that late August. And I think he's actually is experiencing some hormonal shifts and some hormonal changes due to fall coming and due to him actually going to migrate soon. He just seems very contemplative. He feels like he's just kind of in his feelings, like in his thoughts. And I don't know if you can see, but this is him here. I just took this picture actually a few minutes ago. Hold on. Of course. I try to take a photo, but my phone sucks. But he's adorable. Okay, so yeah, this is him right there. And that's what he looks like all the time, just sitting in the feeder. So I believe he is experiencing some fall thoughts and feelings, and I think he's still there now. And he's just preparing. I think something's happening in his body, something's happening where he's preparing to fly down to the tropics, fly down south, where he always flies down to. So this is today's topic, is seasonal transitions, especially the seasonal transition from summer to winter, and our emotions, okay? So I certainly love summer, okay? Summer is my absolute favorite time of the year. It truly, you know what I mean? It is everything that I love. It's the heat and everything. And I definitely get a dip in my emotions, and I feel sad a little bit whenever autumn comes around, and I notice it. I also, of course, notice other biological changes in my body. I tend to have seasonal side effects every time, right around this year. In fact, yesterday it hit me hard, slammed into me, and I pretty much had the whole shebang. I had the headache, the sore throat, sneezing, and it's not nearly as bad as it was yesterday, but it is definitely official. It's official that we're turning around the corner and entering a different temperature, a different air quality and air level. So, and the thing with seasonal transitions is that it, more than anything, it's a sign of environmental change. And this is something that really is a part of life. And to me, it's very natural. And one reason we struggle with this a lot too is because our lives now, as often as 21st century members of westernized civilization, everything has become very steady. So we don't really change our lives around the wheel of the year like we used to. We used to completely often uproot where we were. We uprooted what we were doing. We uprooted the type of food that we had. Everything used to change depending on what time of year that we would do. Like much like that little hummingbird whose life is going to be spent in a totally different part of the world. He's preparing to do something totally different than he was doing the last 6 months or so. We also would do something totally different depending on the time of year. Everything that we provided, that we depended on for survival, our shelter, our food, our levels of activity would have to change throughout the year in order for us to survive. But that has, through the wonders of science and through, basically making food more abundant and being able to mass produce food on such a level, and refrigeration and being able to preserve our food and our incredible shelter and the inventions and heating and cooling and all that, we pretty much live at a stasis, or are expected to live at a stasis throughout the year. No, we are no longer expected to change anything ever. So when the temperature does change, or where there are anything that changes around us, that things that change inside of us, especially as women or people that have feminine bodies, it becomes something that we struggle with, because our work, our lifestyle really is saying that nothing should change and everything should remain the same. So when we do pick up changes in our bodies, in our emotions, that is actually disconcerting to us, because we don't live in a society that really respects that, or that really honors that at all. So a lot of it, to me, is social making, because we're not really given the space anymore to honor the changes that we feel and that we're going through. And that pretty much no matter how much you sanitize and static the hell out of our lifestyle, out of our world, we are not ever going to be immune to the planet's rhythms and the planet's changes. You can put us in a little box and deliver our food in front of us, and we never have to go outside. We're still going to have a way of experiencing rhythms and ebbs and flows and the seasons. So it's important to understand that a lot of the agitation that we feel is truly often from society's making, in that it doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that there is change in our world, that there is ebb and flow, that there is flow, that things aren't always meant to change and always aren't meant to stay the same all the time. That's not the world of business, certainly not corporate business, certainly not the capitalistic way, certainly not the mainstream masculine way. That says just you show up and every day is the same and there's no excuse for feeling anything other than normal and other than the same. And that's not nature. That's not nature. There's going to be a time to slow down, a time for your emotions to come up and down. So number one, just know that often if you are feeling a little bit off, that's normal. And oftentimes it's society's reaction to that can add fuel to the fire. And what are you feeling a little bit down right now? That's not normal. What's wrong with you? Snap out of it. And sometimes we need space to do that. So yeah, that's number one, is that it's normal and natural. And number two, it also is all in our perception and how we see things as well. And one thing about fall, I have to say, fall is a beautiful time of year. I love summer. Summer is my favorite, but fall has always symbolized, number one, the ending of my favorite season. Number one, when I was younger, it would also symbolize, of course, having to go back to school, which when I was very young, I actually looked forward to it. I actually liked going back to school. But as I got older, increasingly, I dreaded it. I liked not having to go to school. I was older and I didn't want to be anywhere without being paid. I was like, this is dumb. I don't want to be in school if I'm not getting paid to be here. When I was a teenager, I still did it, but I couldn't wait to graduate. And when I was an older kid, I started to dread the end of summer because I didn't want to go back to school. That's what that meant for me. So year after year, it kind of started to be more of a drag this time of year. I started to not look forward to it. Of course, I don't like the cold weather, so it's always symbolized that to me as an end to the summer. And because of this, because of repeatedly seeing it this way, I have come to feel sad and feel low when the fall would come. And what's funny is it's always been a very pessimistic way for me to view it. And I am absolutely honest with myself. Fall, actually, autumn, especially this time of year right now, early autumn / the end of summer, has some of the most beautiful weather of the year. Even though I claim that summer is my favorite, if I am absolutely 100% honest, it's actually the seasons in between winter and summer, and in between summer and winter, that actually provide the best, most beautiful weather. Like right now, the weather is perfect. It is warm enough to go outside, in something without a coat or a jacket, but you're not going to sweat your ass off either and end up in a puddle of sweat, and it has so much to offer. It has very crisp and cool mornings and evenings, but it also has a lot of sunshine, a lot of heat in the middle of the day. And if I'm honest, the months of April and May and September and October are probably the best of the year because they have it's like temperance. It's that perfect alchemy where they have some of both and they meet in the middle and make this beautiful temperate gorgeousness. So why is it that when I think of this time of year, I get sad as the death of summer and instead don't see it as the rise of what is the most beautiful season of the year? That's in my perception. So what I could do is instead start to look at this season in a different light, a different viewpoint. And remember that fall in itself is its own season. It tends to fall in the shadow of summer or winter. And I think, summer's over. That means it's winter now, or we're heading into winter. But I have to remember that autumn in itself is its own thing and it has its own beauty. And I certainly love Halloween, and I look forward to that. But I have to really try to look at even the weather itself, since I'm such a fan of hot temperature, and remembering that September and October are also beautiful months, and that I should also look forward to that as well. Now, there is such a thing as, I think the acronym is SAD, Seasonal Affective Disorder. And I believe it's a type of depression that often occurs when people, especially when people are at the end of summer and people are moving towards winter and into winter. It often is caused by the shortening days, the decreased sunlight that we're getting, the longer nights that we're getting, and that is, certainly a serious, something that's serious. That is a form of depression. And if you think that you may be suffering from this, certainly it's important to be conscious of it. It's important to seek out some sort of a treatment. Now, I am not a psychotherapist, a licensed psychotherapist. I am an emotional wellness expert. I am a certified hypnotic consultant. I know a lot about emotions and about the power of them and the things that cause us to go up and down. And one thing I know about depression is it is basically at its core a very, very hyper attentive focus on yourself and on our own problems, and just the lackluster of having anything to really excite you to live for in your life. At the low end, at the other extreme end, being very upset and very, very unhappy with what's going on in your life and having nothing really excite you anymore. And one thing that we can do when it comes to depression is to shift the focus from ourselves and to ask ourselves how we can serve someone else, how we can serve another entity, another community, and for the highest good. Because one thing that can help bring us out of ourselves and our own rut and our own stuckness is to take away the focus on ourselves and ask yourself, okay, well, how can I put this body into service for something else? That certainly is another way to get out of yourself, get out of your own head and out of the horribleness that's happening. And by all means, seek therapeutic help, certainly. If you are being affected by seasonal affective disorder. Okay. But I think even all of us, even all of us that aren't affected necessarily by depression or by that, we can certainly feel a lowness this time of year. So if you are experiencing that, a couple things I would say is, number one, again, check your perception, because our emotions are often a result of the thoughts that we're having about something. So if we are having low thoughts about a transitional period, about something that's happening, know that it's likely the thoughts that are triggering that. So if you are feeling low as the autumn and summer comes around, it most likely lies in the perception that you're having on this new phase, this new transition that's entering your life. What is it about? And it's a great time to take out your journal and ask yourself, what is it about this next season, this next period, this transitional period right now that I'm kind of dreading, that's actually bringing me down, that actually could be filling me with less than good feelings. And it's really important to revisit that the same way that I just mentioned with the example of, if it is the death and the end of summer that is bringing me down, if it's the rise of winter and cold temperatures that's bringing me down, then what I need to do is also look at what autumn is actually bringing, which the truth is it's not winter yet. It's not going to start snowing and icing tomorrow immediately. We still have months of very beautiful weather left. And I need to really welcome that. I also have to remember that, Halloween, which is one of my favorite holidays, is also around the corner as well. And all the things that brings, pumpkin beer, pumpkin coffee, and, hopefully we'll get some trick-or-treaters this year with vaccines out. So we'll see. And the beauty of, once all of this turns gold, it's going to be freaking stunning. And it's important to view that. Okay, so revisit and ask yourself, why is this happening? Another thing you can do as well to really help yourself with with the seasonal fluctuation, the dip in emotions, is to actually ask yourself, what can you create to look forward? And this is something that where a little bit of planning can also help. Fall is a great time to start something new. So one thing you can do is plan on starting something new that excites you in the fall. So this fall, or even for next fall too, think about something that you really, really wanted to do, that you're really looking forward to, and then make that the time that you're going to start it so that you actually have something to look forward to. For example, if you wanted to take guitar or piano lessons, make fall the time that you're going to start that. If you are really looking forward to horseback riding or pole dancing or starting a new dance class or anything that really excites you, painting class, art, make fall the time to begin that, so that it'll be something that excites you, that you can look forward to, and that will actually start to counter some of the low dipping emotions that you may feel when you get closer to the autumn. Okay, so, and it's always important to know that your emotions are going to fluctuate. They're going to go up and down. Change in general, even if you like fall, a lot of people have a dip in feeling. Even those that like fall can feel a little bit off, a little bit down when this happens. Just because change, number one, is a constant in our lives. No matter how static our lives have become with 21st century innovation, it's just a reminder that change is still very, very much a present part of your body. That change is natural, that you are still very much a natural animal, a natural being of the planet. And that even though everything is now provided for you on a constant basis throughout the year, your environment is still changing through a cycle of life and death. And that things around you, plants and trees, are starting to die off, and you're going to be affected by that. And just know that the best antidote for change is simply to push through it, and that this will normalize itself as well, and that this will continue to get better. So just know that change is normal. It's going to happen. Just know that your emotional response to anything is usually a reflection of the thoughts you're having about it. So change the thoughts, change the perception, and you will change the emotional reaction that you have towards it. Another thing is to change the association. So instead of having it be something of finiteness, make it a great and exciting new beginning. Plan to begin something that excites you, that's fun. So not something necessarily, unless it excites you, that you think you should do, like, oh, I should start this project. That's fine. And keeping yourself busy is also a nice way to really deal with emotions and depressive feelings, depressive feelings as well. Depressed feelings, I should say, is, and not spending too much downtime alone, that you want to stay busy, stay moving, but really try to have fun and try to use the autumn to begin something that's going to excite you. That's really a great way to change your thoughts about the autumn and therefore change your feelings. Another reason that summer sometimes brings us down is it's the end of vacation season. But says who? You can have amazing vacations to amazing places in the winter. Do you know what season the Southern Hemisphere is starting right now? They're starting spring. So when we're in the dead of winter, they're going to be in the height of summer. So the vacations can still happen in the winter. I know a lot of people who make some great vacations. So you don't have to push all your vacations in the summertime. And actually spreading that out into the winter and around the year and into the fall is a great way to alleviate some of the depressed emotions we have about winter and fall. We don't have to stay home all the time and be cold. We can actually move around. We can still take vacations. That's still a thing, okay? You can make it a thing. Anyway. All right, so that's it. It's getting really long, so I'm going to end it. But I hope this finds you well, and I hope that you enjoy this transition period and find the beauty in it, the fun, the magic. This certainly is a magical time of year. And it's funny because even though I feel I get down every year, me personally at this point, it doesn't ever last long, because when these things do happen and I get used to it, and then I see all the wonderful things that fall does bring up, all the other opportunities that fall brings with it, I tend to perk up and get out of that funk and move forward. So I hope you do too. I hope you found this video helpful as far as ways to really have you thinking and feeling differently about autumn and keeping your emotional level high. So thank you so much, and be well and be blessed. If you enjoy this content, please make sure you sign up for our newsletter at www.newworldcoaching.org/sign up. You can sign up for the newsletter. We'll be sending out different videos such as this, as well as giveaways we'll be doing, as well as another little giveaway. I think we're going to be doing another book review giveaway pretty soon. So make sure you're signed up for that to win the next prize. And also, of course, be on the lookout for our first book, Life Change Now, a 3-step guide to manifesting what you want through the magic of being who you are, which is now available on Amazon.com, both paperback and Kindle versions. Audiobook, hopefully coming soon. That's in the works. So if you're an audiobook person. So thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter, and be blessed, be safe, and remember to change yourself, or to change your life, rather. You must first change yourself. Enjoy your autumn. Take care.